Subscribe to Determined Black Man's State of Mind for more disheartening truths like this one.
And killing an unarmed teenager.
Hey,
He had probable cause.
we're trying to make contact at the house, okay?
It is a documented house that has had some narcotic problems.
Go back over a couple times. The door was obviously open.
I don't see anybody who was standing up who could have opened the door.
What's up, man?
Did he have time really to identify himself?
Hey,
He didn't say he was SAPD, he didn't say nothing.
what's up, man?
At 1 a.m., he began firing shots.
Multiple shots, not one shot.
I can tell he's doing something around his waist.
You won't see any shred of evidence to indicate they had a weapon.
Your brain reacts totally when adrenaline takes over.
You're going to have a little adrenaline. Things are going to be at a little higher level.
I want his uniform taken away. I want him to pay the same price that we do.
It's messed up. Because nobody was doing anything. That was the hardest thing I ever had to do in my whole life. Was to bury my boy.
So I'm starting because he flagged me down saying that someone in the house pushed him.
9 seconds in the darkness of an October morning changed everything for an 18-year-old who had just become a father. Charles Roundtree walked into this San Antonio home alive. He left 217 Robert Street in a body bag.
I want justice for my son. He didn't deserve what happened to him.
Rain, roses in front of a chain-link fence. Balloons move about in the air. It's a memorial to Charles Roundtree. The 18-year-old loved basketball and wanted to enlist in the Army. Those dreams ended Wednesday morning.
Bell 60 and 40 are going to go to the 200 block of Robert.
San Antonio police say Officer Steve Casanova called for backup to 217 Robert Street, a documented drug house SAPD has been to 130 times in 2 years. Early Wednesday morning, they were responding to an assault.
The approach was very professional. It was simply an inquiry.
Police say an aggressive 24-year-old reached for a pistol during the early morning call.
As he went to draw that pistol
Note
out,
he maintains the
he
story
also
about
fired.
someone having a gun,
Round
though
went
investigations said that
that
no one that
individual
was present at that
and
moment
struck the person
had a
on the
gun.
couch
A gun that was
in front
found
of the
nearby
officer.
had no
That person
DNA
died.
traces of any of
The
those
suspect
people
with the
that
gun was
came into
wounded.
contact with that
Charles
law enforcement
Roundtree
that
was
day.
the victim.
100.
What?
The screen just a minute ago, 217 Roberts said they had a male in his 20s, gunshot wound to the chest. We checked on 217 yet?
It's a very unfortunate, tragic outcome of that situation.
Daryl Washington, the attorney for the Roundtree family, says police are using the past of the Robert Street's home to justify the officer-involved shooting that killed the teen. Washington says police had no reason to use force. He also says this is an unfortunate situation where SAPD did not conduct a proper investigation, which is why McManus made one statement at the scene and another Wednesday afternoon. McManus says the initial information was preliminary. According to Washington, Roundtree had no criminal record and was unarmed, but paid the ultimate price in an officer-involved shooting at the hands of SAPD.
According to that sign up there awaiting demolition, gone are the people and the incidents that brought San Antonio police to this address. But there is one incident that stands out: the fatal shooting of an 18-year-old at 217 Robert Street. At an East San Antonio Memorial Park, Charles Roundtree Jr. was laid to rest, but his friends can't find peace.
This is sad. It's sad.
365 days of controversy and pain. October 17, 2018, police started an assault investigation because of 2 early morning soup sellers parking in the wrong place.
200 block of Roberts.
The body camera of San Antonio police officer Steve Casanova shows us what happened next at 217 Robert Street.
Hey, it was your
In the front room, Roundtree, Taylor, Singleton, and Devontae Snowden. Casanova said Snowden had a gun. SAPD says Roundtree, or Chop as he is known, was an unintentional casualty at a documented drug house. A Bexar County grand jury did not hold the officer criminally responsible for the shooting, but a criminal jury decided police and the Bexar County District Attorney couldn't prove Snowden had a gun. So far, no one is being held criminally responsible for Roundtree's killing, and DA Joe Gonzalez refused to do an interview about the case. San Antonio police are restricted from talking about the shooting because Roundtree's family is suing them for wrongful death.
He needs to pay it too. Just because he wears blue doesn't make it no different.
We did learn from a police report that 18-year-old Roundtree is listed as a suspect, even though McManus said he was a bystander. And after
And see, it's stuff like this that makes situations like these even more disheartening when you can't trust law enforcement. You can't trust law enforcement to be honest, and they go and forge documentation to cover their own selves. That's when it's really scary out here, y'all. You can't trust the law.
That brings us graveside with the two people who were in the room when Roundtree died. He acknowledges doing 5 years for burglary, but says he was not a criminal that morning on Robert Street.
Ain't nobody announced themselves when the door just come open. I'm trying to see what it is.
Snowden says they were all blinded by Casanova's flashlight and surprised he never announced himself as SAPD.
I really try to run for cover. Anybody shooting at you, you gotta run for cover.
Roundtree took his final breath in Snowden's arms as he applied pressure to the teen's gunshot wound.
He's a baby. He's a little even young.
1 year later, the tears on their faces are connected to the remembrance of the reality.
I wish he could have walked out of there with us.
As they reach for resolve. Marvin Hurst, KENS 5.
At least that much. But we couldn't do that.
Eyewitness News.
A sigh of relief from the San Antonio Police Department tonight. A grand jury decided not to indict one of their officers for killing an unarmed teen in October. Steve Casanova went to 217 Robert Street to investigate an assault call that evolved into a deadly officer-involved shooting. Police say he shot a suspect with a weapon, and that same gunfire hit Charles "Chop" Roundtree in the chest. Eyewitness News reporter Marvin Hurst has reaction from Charles "Chop" Roundtree's parents with reaction on the grand jury's vote today.
No indictment, but the family of Charles "Chop" Roundtree says this fight is far from over. Joining us now to react to the decision from the grand jury is Charles's adoptive mother and his aunt, Bernice Roundtree. Bernice, how do you feel about what you've heard today?
I mean, we're disappointed at how the process was completed, and it appears that the DA didn't do an independent investigation. Feel like they pretty much had their minds made up as to the outcome for Steve Casanova.
And where do you all go from here?
We're going to continue to fight. We're going to continue to seek justice, for the death of my son. I mean, the fight's not over.
The fight's not over. So tonight when you go to sleep and you have your private conversation with Chop, what will you tell him?
That it's not over. We're still gonna fight for justice. This is only the beginning. It's gonna keep going.
So by that, I know that you all have a lawsuit that has been filed in this, and there's a protest scheduled in front of the San Antonio Police Department headquarters tomorrow.
Yes, tomorrow night, 7 o'clock.
Tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Bernice Roundtree reacting to the decision by the grand jury not to hold Officer Steve Casanova criminally responsible in this case. By the way, we reached out to the San Antonio Police Department on Officer Casanova's status. They would only say that he remains on administrative duty. They would not tell us if he's headed back on the street with his service weapon. We have video from that night, and we're going to make available for the first time an hour and 18 minutes, which is the entire body cam video of that shooting, the incident from A to Z. It's going to be on KENS5.com tonight. It's going to be an exclusive. You should tune into it. Aaron, that is the latest here with Bernice Roundtree. Until tomorrow, back to you guys.
Marvin, thank you. Bexar County District Attorney Joe Gonzalez released this statement earlier today saying, quote, "Our office presented all the evidence regarding this officer-involved shooting to the grand jury, although the decision of the grand jury may not be the decision that was hoped for by the family of Charles Roundtree Jr. We respect the grand jury's decision and extend our sympathy to the Roundtree family," end quote.
Thank you for watching, and please support my channel and my journey by liking, sharing, subscribing, and hitting the notification bell to be notified of all future content. For monetary support and donations, you can hit us up on Cash App at $a determined black man. That's on Cash App at $a determined black man. Y'all stay up, stay good people. One.